it's Teacher Carrie here, and today we're going to try to answer the question, to plan or not to plan. Now, of course, this video has not been sponsored by anyone, so hashtag not sponsored, and let's jump into it. Of course, when I say plan, I'm talking about whether or not to do additional planning for my VIPKID lessons as I am using ManyCam to teach. So today I'm going to take you through some of the pros and cons of planning or not planning as you are using ManyCam and teaching for VIPKID. Let's jump over to my ManyCam tutorial screen, and on this screen we will talk about the features of ManyCam that make it super easy to plan or not plan your lessons depending on what you choose. So first, let's just talk about some of the pros and cons of planning your VIPKID lessons. Number one, as an independent contractor for VIPKID, any time that you spend planning outside of actually teaching the lessons will be on your own time for free. It's not built into your pay schedule to be paid for planning. So it's very tempting to just look at the lessons as you are teaching them and use the teacher tips in class with your student. But of course, you run the risk of getting negative parent feedback if you look unprepared for the lesson. And personally, I have a little bit of anxiety, and so I prefer to plan my lessons, and I love to use ManyCam to help me set up special features for each one of my students. So I will talk with you more about the pros and cons of planning as we go through this here, but I wanted to give you a model of how I might actually plan for my lesson. I usually teach 6 students back to back each morning, and I like to make a preset for each one of my students in ManyCam the night before I teach, or sometimes the morning before I teach, as I like to get things done as early in the day as I can so that I have the rest of my day free with my family. So I have here available 12 preset boxes because I am using the studio version of ManyCam, and I have 4 of them set up always for each one of my classes. The first one here is sort of my welcome preset that I will put on the screen before the student and I start class. I have one for my Google Slide rewards. That's a custom desktop area in that preset. I have one for writing on the screen. I use it as a chalkboard just so that I can be sure that my student can see the messages I type to them. And I have another one that is also a custom desktop area that I use for various things while I'm teaching. And then I usually have enough space then to fill up 6 more boxes, one for each student that I'm teaching. It takes me about 45 minutes to 60 minutes to plan for all 6 of my classes, so 1 hour total for the 6 classes that I teach each day. And that 1 hour is time that I'm not getting paid from VIPKID. So while you're using ManyCam, if you have downloaded a lot of effects and backgrounds and things like that, you might choose not to do any planning before you start teaching. Or you might just click through all the slides as you're preparing just to be sure that you have an effect for everything that you might want. So let me show you, I'm going to shrink me down a little bit here. And on this Word document, I have just written down some of the things that I might need on my ManyCam screen as I'm teaching a class for tomorrow. So the lesson is Major Course, Level 2, Unit 8, Learning Cycle 2, Lesson 11. So this will be the review just before the assessment, and this lesson is all about colors. I think the title of the unit is Colors Around Me or something like that. So these I have just gotten from my VIPKID slides. I just quickly clicked through them and typed them here. I don't want to show the actual VIPKID slides because of course there's some copyright issues surrounding doing that. So you can see here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's going to be about 23 different types of effects that I might choose to use just for one student in one class. So I could, of course, use my ManyCam effects searching feature to just search for each one of these things. So I might just in class live type up sun and put a sun on my screen when I need it. But I don't prefer to do that because, like I said, I get a little anxiety about teaching, even though I have taught around 4,700 classes with VIPKID, and I've been using ManyCam long enough to be fairly comfortable with doing a live search in class. But I like to make sure the night before or the day before that I have an effect if I should need it. So as I look down my list here, these are just different things that come up on the slides. It doesn't necessarily mean that I will use an effect for it, and particularly in this lesson 11, it's a review lesson, and my students should be fairly familiar with the concepts from the unit so far. So I really tend to focus on things that are going to be difficult for my student that I want to reinforce with an additional visual. But I do go ahead and load in all of the effects that I might want because I also like to make sure that they're in the correct position and size so that they don't come up covering my face or in a way that doesn't sort of make sense for what I want to use them for. So as I am planning for my lessons, I will start a new preset box for each student. So I'm just going to go down, press my press button, go to my correct camera, and then I will cut over there and I'll go ahead and situate my background. Now, since this lesson is all about colors, I have a nice little rainbow background that I like to use for that. So I'm just adjusting the settings to what I like them to be for my green screen. And then I'm going to choose my little rainbow and click around on my screen here just so that it's nice and vibrant and all about colors for my student. So one of the reasons that I choose to do this the night before is that I want to make sure that in the morning I don't have to get up too early in order to get prepared for my classes. I do already get up 1 hour before the start time of my first class because I like to drink a lot of coffee, do my makeup, and make sure all of my technology is okay. Because if I have to, for some reason, run a Windows update or restart my computer, I want to be sure that I have plenty of time to deal with that kind of stuff before I have to start teaching. And having everything prepared for my lessons ahead of time really just makes me less anxious in the morning. So as I'm looking down my list here, I just start typing in my search feature in ManyCam. I'll put a sun and then I'll just hide it. And then the next one is an apple tree, and I have it named backwards. It's named Tree Apple. And see how it comes up there in that corner? Well, I don't really like that. I like things to make sense in terms of physics as I am teaching, although that's just a particular quirk of mine. You might be fine with this apple tree in the corner. But for me, I like to drag it down here and make sure it's a nice size, but not covering my face in any way. And then I will just hide that there. The next one I need is grass. And you can see that since I have taught this particular student 11 or 10, I guess, lessons in this unit so far, I should have most of the effects already saved in my ManyCam, and I shouldn't have to do too much online searching or downloading from ManyCam in order to find the things I need. I do have to remember what they're called as well. And so as I'm teaching in class, I'll just go through and hide and unhide these things while we're doing it here. I need a house next. So again, I don't really like that position there. I'll bring it over here down in the corner. Oh, and I think I missed one. I was supposed to have a flower. So this is another thing that I like doing it this way because I can make sure all of the things that I was supposed to have, I do have, and then I can layer them correctly. Like I might want this grass to be in front of the flower or vice versa, in which case I'll need to organize them a little bit. So again, when I am doing this, I just put them in the correct order for what I want them to be. Oh, I think I need the apple tree first, the grass, and then the flower. Again, I can't show you the actual VIPKID slides, but this is a little song about the yellow sun and green grass and having a flower and then a brown chair in your house. And then the next one here is about eating with family. So I might just pull up a family and I would use TPR for eating. You see again there, I want to make sure that this is large enough for the student to really see it in class and that it's in a good position. So one big pro of planning before you teach is that you can do all the repositioning and resizing you need to do uh, out of view of the student. Because for me, I like to use a lot of effects and I like them to be fairly seamless while I'm in class with the student. So I could do all this searching live in class with my kiddo, but then I run the risk of looking a little bit unprepared. So I like to have everything loaded up, and that doesn't necessarily mean, again, that I will use all of these things. I just want to have them available should I need them. Some apples, and you can see it's going fairly quickly because I have all of these effects already saved. But this means that I either downloaded from ManyCam or downloaded them from Google before I needed them here. I might have saved it as pencils for the next one, and I'm just quickly resizing them. And you can see my list is getting rather large here. So one thing to consider whether when you are deciding whether or not to plan for your lessons is how much graphics processing and RAM and things like that your computer can handle. Mine can handle quite a lot. I can put 20, 30 different effects in each preset with a virtual background, and I still do fine. I don't have any issues with lagging or anything like that. Now, if you are having some trouble with your ManyCam, it's getting bogged down, or you think it's making your computer run a little slowly, um, I have another tutorial for advanced techniques in troubleshooting for ManyCam. So I will link that up in the info card and of course down in the description. Aha. Okay, I do not have a yellow egg. I have sort of a tan colored egg. So what I might do for that is just open up my Google web browser here, and I'm going to search for a yellow egg PNG or portable network graphic. And then when I click onto that, I'll find one that makes me happy. What does this guy look like? Sort of 3D-ish, but I don't like this white background around it, so I'm going to choose another one. This one will work fine. I'm just going to drag it to my computer desktop, and it's already called Yellow Egg, so I don't need to rename it there. Now, if you need some help with finding these effects and how to use them, of course, be sure to check out my All About Effects video, which of course I will leave a link to as well. Yellow egg, brown house. I know I have a yellow house, but I don't think I have a brown one. So I'm going to search for brown house PNG in my Google browser. And you can see it's fairly quick. I could do this live with my student in class, but what I want to avoid is sort of looking away from the camera as I'm teaching. One of the things that you might get negative parent feedback on is not looking at your camera in class, because it could be misinterpreted as looking at your phone or looking at other websites, and that's just really not what we want parents and students to see. So one big pro for planning ahead of time is that it minimizes the amount of time that I have to spend looking away from the student in class. Let's make a little smaller rabbit there. And as you can see, I'm just going down my list here and quickly finding what I need. I don't think I have a red egg, so I will search one up. And since I had a yellow egg that looks sort of like this, I think I'll choose its partner. And it's named already red egg, so when I search for that in ManyCam, I will be able to find it. There we go. And we're almost done here. I need a white sofa. I'm not sure if I have a white sofa. I have some other colored sofas. Now I'm being, again, fairly particular. You wouldn't need a graphic for each one of these vocabulary words that come up, and you could put a blue sofa even though the reading that we're going to be doing talks about a white sofa. Most students are going to be able to handle that little bit of a change, but I'm just sort of particular about the way I like my effects to be. Drop that little white sofa in there and hide it down in the corner. And then I need an orange or an orange tree. Aha, I have an orange tree. You see how it comes up over my face there? I want to move it so that it's not covering my face as I'm talking with my student, particularly since I teach English. I want them to be able to see my mouth movements to help with their pronunciation. Lemon or lemon tree, so I'll just go with a lemon. And then I need a mango or a mango tree. I have a mango handy, so I'll just go with that. So you can see there, that took me I don't actually know the real time, but maybe about 5 or 10 minutes to plan for that lesson as I was talking to you. And then I would go through and do that for the next 5 classes on my schedule. So one big con about doing this is that it is using up my own free time on my day off today, and I'm not going to get paid for it. But I do it anyway because I think it leads to better interaction with my student in class. I don't have to worry about finding any of these effects. I just look down my list here and I do them in order of the slides. So I always know the first thing I'm going to need is this sun and then that apple tree, and I don't have to do any resizing of them in class or reorienting them because I've already put them where I want them to be. And particularly if I have 2 different effects that might interact with each other. For instance, if I want to show a car driving on a road, I would first load up my car, put it where I want it to be, And you see how it's oriented from right or left to right on my screen here. I want it to not be on this side of the screen because then it looks like it can't go any further. So I like to have it on there, and then I might search for a street, something like this. I can position it, and then I could show my student driving on the road. So this is what I mean about orientation. I wouldn't want this car to come up above my head or on that side if my road is going to be down here. And I like it to be the direction that it would be driving. I don't like it to be on the corner of the screen there where it looks like it can't go any further, because then it's less interactive for me and my student as we are in class. But again, that's totally up to you. You might be very quick about moving things around the screen where it doesn't interfere with your teaching. But for me, again, I like to minimize the amount of time that I have to spend playing with those effects as I'm teaching. And one more thing I need to do here is just add my name to the screen. So I'll turn on my text feature, find the font that I want, and put it where I want it to be. So for my student in class tomorrow, everything is set up for class number 1. And then I would just take a note card or a sticky note, and I'm going to write the name of my student, the time of our class, and what preset box this is, so that when I have similar backgrounds, I'll still be able to find the right class for my student. So let me know, what do you think? Do you plan for your lessons, or do you just do everything live in class with your student? And of course, some of this will be dependent on what levels and uh, supplementary classes you're certified for. Because if you get a supplementary class that you don't teach very often, of course, you're probably going to want to at least click through the slides and be sure that you know the concepts from the lesson. But like this colors lesson, I've taught it probably 20 times to other students over the course of my time with VIPKID. So I might not need to do as much planning for this class as I would for one that I have not taught before. But let me know, what do you think? Do you plan for your lessons, or do you really try to maximize your pay by not planning before you start teaching? I hope you have a great day teaching, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.